Hello and welcome to the Swiss stage of Snow Sweet Snow. We are in the 0-1 bracket, in which teams that weren't quite able to prevail yesterday move here at a shot of redemption. Surprisingly, take a look at that lineup. We've got some Sprout, Speedy, Cressy, Faven, Dennis, Slaxes, all of which really well-known players, all of which who have really performed in the past. The question is, can they do so again? Now, we recently saw Diha and co leave Sprouts to go onto greener pastures, so we'll have to see if they're able to do so now, and we'll have to see if these kind of German counterparts can actually rise ahead and make up for that differential of firepower, because Diha, he was an incredible player, and he's going to be some very big boots to fill. Let's look over it as Izako Boars. We've got Taos, Shane, Shui, Mono, and Stomp. Do tell me how to pronounce Shui. Sihui? I don't really know how to say that, so please let me know in the chat. I'd rather know now rather than later, at least that way, if we mess it up, at least it'll be okay. But, of course, going to be very, very interesting. Of course, the firepower on Shane is unparalleled. We look at him, he's the kind of highlighted player for Izako Boars. He's always the one to boast a very high ADR, averaging about 70 or so, or usually above, actually. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares, but in just a moment, we should be able to look at the veto, and the veto will give us a very, very clear distinction on how these teams are going to fare. Whether or not we fare a veto, favouring the Poles or the Germans, we'll have to see. For now, Nuke overpass get taken out. It's a pick of Train by Izako Boars, a map that always has favoured Polish teams in the past. Sprout they respond with Inferno. Interesting to say the least, but with Dust 2 falling, we'll see Vertigo taken out, leaving, of course, our final deciding map of Mirage. Now, at a glance, this veto does favour Izako Boars, but we need to bear in mind that Sprout have a very strong Inferno, and they do not shy away from Mirage at all. We also look at win rates, to say the least. Inferno for Izako Boars definitely hasn't been the best as of late. Only about 36% win rates. Of course, they give it to Sprout. Inferno, one of their kind of higher winning maps at an 80% win rate. So definitely gonna have to see how either of them fare moving forward. But of course, Train being this opening map, Sprouts, they still have a semi-decent win rate on it, 54% comparative to Izako Boars 65. This is by no stretch of the imagination Izako Boars is better. So we'll have to see if they're able to use it to maximum efficiency. Of course, do let us know your predictions in the chat. I was actually able to speak to our producer, Nutella, before the start of this game. He reckons a 2-0 to Sprouts. Whether or not it will be, whether or not the kind of Izako Boars might be able to upset here, we'll have to see. And what's interesting, actually, is because of Izako Boars is not so much bad performance, but standard performance comparative to Sprout's horror performance yesterday. It actually puts it on a fairly level playing field where Sprout have to bounce back from a humiliating defeat. Again, we'll have to see how they fare, but of course, those of you in the chat, do let me know. Of course, being a solo caster can be a very lonely job. So, all of your messages, all of your predictions, I do read the chat while I cast. So, I'll be able to see what you guys think, and hopefully, we'll be able to get a bit of a kind of joint prediction. I doubt it'll be unanimous, but we might as well see by majority. Of course, I think they Sprout, regardless of their loss, close to over 50% win rate. Izako Boars, they favoured this first map being the absolute best. The second map definitely against them, in the hope that maybe the momentum from the first map can kind of pull them ahead. We will have to see. But for the time being, we should be able to get into game relatively shortly. I haven't really been given a time yet, but I assume it will be about 5 minutes or so. So for the time being, let's see how they